Um, Welcome, everybody, and tons of familiar faces from the Jewish community here. So really people I've worked with over the last 5-7 years. So really warm welcome to you. I think October the 2020 was one of the darkest days for all of us. The racist pro-equality party was judged by the Equal Opportunities Commission to have been a place where discrimination against Jew and Jew hate was practiced. So today is a hugely significant moment for us in the Labour Party and for the Jewish community and for Jewish Labour Party members and for those Jews who vote Labour. It's, for me as well, the fact that the EHRC have given us a clean bill of health is fantastically important as we work on the journey of re-establishing our party and getting it back to the values that we had. I always say that it's dead easy to move a cancer from the fringes to the mainstream, but to rid a party of that cancer will always be a journey. We can never take our foot off the accelerator. But if you'd asked me 2 years ago, what would it be like today? I would have been amazed that we have got so far. In fact, I would have told you there's no chance of making the progress that we have made. So I'm actually really rather proud of having been proved wrong. And I think the reason that that's happened is down to Keir's absolutely stunningly brilliant leadership. The first people Keir rang when he became leader of the Labour Party were the Jews, those that actually had suffered most under Jeremy Corbyn's leadership from vile abuse and discrimination. And he promised us all that the first task he would undertake would be expelling anti-Semitism from the Labour Party, creating a zero-tolerance culture. And he's kept to that promise. And we've done absolutely brilliantly to get that far. And I think from all of us in the Jewish community here, a big thank you to you for everything you've done for all of us and for the party. And then finally, the thing I feel is that I'm beginning to see the green shoots coming through of confidence and trust being rebuilt in the Labour Party. We've got tons of young Jewish Labour activists who are doing a fantastic job getting onto councils. We secured Barnet Council for the first time, and we are now selecting some really brilliant Jewish Labour candidates who will be with us as we move forward. So it all looks good, but we have still got further to go. And I am now absolutely delighted to introduce Marie. Marie, I've got to know since really the anti-Semitism started in the Labour Party, and I, with trepidation, first met the Board of Deputies. And Marie has always been a completely straight, tough, critical friend of the Labour Party. When we did wrong, you were not frightened to stand up and say it. And I know it was painful for you as it was for us. But also you were with us when we started putting things right. You were with us during the Working Party when we started working through the systems that we'd have to put in place to expel anti-Semitism. And you were the first to acknowledge the progress that we made. So I'm proud to have got to know you. I'm delighted to call you my friend, and I look forward to hearing your contribution this morning.
Thank you. My name is Marie van der Zyl, and I'm the President of the Board of Deputies, the democratic representative body of the UK Jewish community. And I'm greatly moved at being able to be here today. Not too long ago, this would simply have been an impossibility. And it's no secret that for some years, significant numbers of British Jews felt unable to vote Labour. That this should have happened in 21st century Britain is astounding, and it's in sharp contrast to the traditional relationship between many Jews and the party. Today, after 2 years of Labour's implementation of an action plan designed to confront and uproot anti-Semitism the Equality and Human Rights Commission, the EHRC, has lifted the party out of special measures. The EHRC report made it clear that there had been serious failings in the Labour Party leadership in addressing anti-Semitism and an inadequate process for handling anti-Semitism complaints. In other words, the rot was deeply embedded. To change this would instead require a leadership and a staff totally dedicated to making anti-Semitism, which is anti-Jewish racism, unacceptable within the Labour Party. From his first speech as a Labour leader, Keir Starmer made it clear that he was determined to do this. He described how anti-Semitism had been a stain on the party. He apologised and vowed to tear out this poison by its roots. And when the EHRC report was released, Jeremy Corbyn, under whose watch anti-Semitism in the party had flourished, even released a statement alleging that the scale of the problem was dramatically overstated for political reasons. Keir Starmer's response, removing the whip from the former Labour leader, signalled unequivocally that downplaying, deflecting and denying anti-Semitism within Labour was at an end. In response, he has been targeted by vile abuse, from accusations of being in the pay of a foreign power or Jewish businessmen, or having his family links analysed and critiqued. Foul bigots have attacked him for his efforts. Nonetheless, he has not wavered from his course. A note of caution: the lifting of these special measures must not be construed as implying that the problems within the Labour Party are over. We still see issues with anti-Semitism, particularly within the grassroots. And there are still Labour MPs and councillors who openly denied or downplayed anti-Semitism because of political expediency. They know who they are, and we will not forget them in a hurry. Similarly, the hatred directed at those who stood against anti-Semitism within Labour, particularly the misogyny aimed at women, including Margaret, Ruth, Louise, present with us today, and which I can also personally attest to, will live long in the memory. I want to thank the Jewish Labour movement, whose efforts ensured the EHRC investigated the party in the first place, as well as... I do not belong to a political party. This speech is not a political endorsement. I strongly believe that British Jews deserve the right to vote for any party they feel best shares their values. In 2017 and 2019, for many Jews, that simply could not be a primary factor in their voting choice. At the next election, I believe all British Jews will once again be free to vote according to their political persuasion, rather than out of fear for their future here. It is now my great pleasure to hand over to Keir Starmer, leader of the Labour Party.
Thank you. Thank you, Marie. Today is an important moment in the history of the Labour Party. It's taken many, many months of hard work and humility to get here. It's meant rebuilding trust, not just with the Jewish community, but with all those who were rightly appalled by the culture of the party under the previous leadership. When I became leader, I said I would turn Labour around and give it back to the British people. And the most important and urgent part of that was in tearing out anti-Semitism by its roots. Anti-Semitism isn't evil, and no political party that cultivates it deserves to hold power. I said from the start that we would be judged not on our own terms, but by the return of those who felt they could no longer support us. The first step on that journey was to accept the findings of the Equality and Human Rights Commission. But it was deeper than that, because we also had to make clear that there was no space for anyone who didn't do the same. That is as true today as it was then. Let me be very clear. Those who seek to blame others or downplay what happened in our party are themselves part of the problem, and we will have zero patience or tolerance of that. Having accepted the Commission's report, the onus was then on us to begin to right the wrongs of the past. I'm proud to lead a party and a team that have worked tirelessly to do so, and it is as a result of that work that I'm speaking here today. But while it is an important moment, it is not one for celebration. It is one for reflection on how a party that has always prided itself on anti-racism, on its commitment to equality, its belief in a better, fairer Britain, could have fallen so far as to betray its own principles as well as the principles of the country. This is also a moment to apologise once again to all those who were hurt, to all those who were let down, to all those driven out of our party who no longer felt it was their home, who suffered the most appalling abuse. Today, on behalf of the entire Labour Party, I say sorry. What you've been through can never be undone. Apologies alone cannot make it right. But just as I promised to take this issue head on, today I make you a number of further promises. Firstly, that under my leadership there will be zero tolerance of anti-Semitism, of racism, of discrimination of any kind. And secondly, that every day I will work ceaselessly to bring this party back to the British people. Be in no doubt, the job of restoring Labour is not complete, not even close. I don't see today's announcement as the end of the road. I see it as a signpost that we're heading in the right direction. I feel humbled when I think of all those who've tirelessly dedicated themselves to getting Labour back on track. All those inside and outside the party who've made it their mission to restore, renew and rebuild Labour on behalf of the country. It's thanks to them that we can say firmly, proudly, confidently, the Labour Party has changed. Not because it was convenient to do so, not by fiddling around the edges, not just until the next person to lead the party comes along, but permanently, fundamentally, irrevocably. We have changed from a party that looked inward to a party that meets the public gaze, from a party of dogma to a party of patriotism, from a party of protest to a party of public service. Change is never easy. And I understand that some people won't like the changes that we've made. But I say this with all candour. The Labour Party is unrecognisable from 2019, and it will never go back. It will never again be a party captured by narrow interests. It will never again lose sight of its purpose or its morals. And it will never again be brought to its knees by racism or bigotry. If you don't like that, if you don't like the changes that we've made, I say the door is open and you can leave. But to all those who can see we've changed for the better and are excited, I say the door is open, come in, make us your home. Working together, I believe we can do great things for our country. I believe we can be a force for good, and that starts today. No one knows better than me that there is much still to do. That is why my third promise to you today is that I will not rest for a moment until the job of changing the Labour Party for the better and then the job of changing our country for the better are complete. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We're going to take some questions now from the media.
Labour Party on your watch has changed. Can you say categorically whether or not the former leader, Jeremy Corbyn, will stand...
Candidate. What I said about the party changing, I meant, and we are not to go to the Labour Party, was to change the Labour Party and to tear anti-Semitism out. That's why, on my acceptance speech, I made an apology on behalf of the Labour Party and made that my commitment. And what I asked of all those that were affected was the opportunity to be given the space to do what I needed to do and to be judged by my actions. And I'm grateful to all of those who gave me that space and are now judging me on my actions. Thank you, Harry. Lee.
Lee Harkin from Jewish News.
Yeah.
Are you today promising you will take action against any MP, any councillor, any member in the party who denies anti-Semitism, who uses the phrase purge of socialism to excuse anti-Semitism? Are you pledging action against these people?
Lee, thank you very much for that question. I hope I've made it clear this morning and previously that all those that deny there is a problem, there was a problem of anti-Semitism, all those that pretend it was exaggerated are part of the problem themselves and will be dealt with under the rules of the Labour Party, because it's very important that we are robust in relation to those views that this was all somehow exaggerated and that the extent has been disproportionately blown out. I don't accept that, and I don't accept that has a place in our Labour Party. Thank you, Lee. And Ben from the Jewish Chronicle, please.
Good morning, Sir Keir. Hi. So it seems this is a really big day for the Labour Party. It seems the upper echelons are in the right place and the HRC is happy with the progress. But as alluded to by Marie van der Zyl of the Board of Deputies, there are still issues at the local level with councillors and party officials. JC revealed just yesterday a party official local party official, had been posting extremely questionable content for many, many years, up until most recently. So, are you confident that issues are being addressed at the local level, and how can you reassure Jewish people who want to get involved in local party politics that they will be safe to do so? Thank you.
Well, Ben, thank you for that question. The fight against anti-Semitism is never over. And that's why it's so important that I make it clear today that, of course, it's an important day for the Labour Party that the Commissioners decided that our plan has been operated and they're content with it. But it doesn't mean the fight against anti-Semitism is over anywhere in any political party, including my political party, and we will continue with the same robust approach, because the changes that we've put in place are fundamental, they're substantial. The Labour Party has changed, and the Commission would not have signed off today if they didn't think it was fundamental and substantial. And so wherever there is anti-Semitism, we will chase it down and we will deal with it in the same robust way as we've done over the last 2 to 3 years. Thank you. And I think we've just about got time for Theo from LBC.
Theo Ashwood, LBC.
Theo.
Thanks for taking my questions, Sir Keir. At the beginning of your statement, you said that under Jeremy Corbyn, Labour cultivated anti-Semitism. That would suggest that there may have been a political intention to allow a culture of anti-Semitism to foster for perhaps political ends. Do you think that's the case? And I think everybody in this room could testify to the fact that there is still anti-Semitism is still prevalent in society. And how much responsibility do you think Jeremy Corbyn, his leadership of the Labour Party, bears responsibility for that? Thank you.
Well, Theo, thank you for that question. I think that the work against anti-Semitism is never over. It was absolutely clear to me when I took over as leader of the Labour Party that we had to change the Labour Party and we had to start with anti-Semitism. And that's why, as leader of the Labour Party, in my acceptance speech, I apologised for what had gone before. And that's why I said what I said this morning, and I stand by those words. But look, very, very important that we're clear that this is a signpost that we are making progress, a signpost that the actions we've taken over the last 2 to 3 years are the right actions. But But it would be a complete mistake, in my view, to think that now somehow the job is done. It is never done. We must fight anti-Semitism wherever we find it, every day as a political party, every day as individuals. Thank you, Theo. And Alitha from The Guardian.
Thank you, Sir. Alita Addy from The Guardian. If you are set on ensuring that the Labour Party will be one not of protest but of equality, will you this morning prescribe the Momentum Group that has long supported Jeremy Corbyn, or at least put them on notice this morning?
Well, look, I have many powers and duties and responsibilities in the Labour Party, but that one is not for me, I'm afraid. But look, whatever group or individual in the Labour Party, I think the message from this morning couldn't be clearer. This is an important day. It's a day of reflection. The change that we've brought about is substantial and it is permanent. The Labour Party has changed. And if there's anyone in the Labour Party that doesn't like that change, then my message to them is very clear this morning. The door is open and you can leave. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.